Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
Hey, I can look at myself naked.
Are you stoned or something?
They tried stoning me, my dear. It did not work.
He likes to create his own sauce.
Well, did you sleep with a man who also slept with Mom and Grandma Catherine?
What? You slept with Dad?
Alright, which one of you sardines called this meat?
Whatever, Major Loser.
Let the party begin!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The last little shred of hope and light at the end of a long, dark year. That's Chad Ekowitz.
Damn, and that's Simone LaRue coming with the real feels right at the end of the year.
I'm so sorry. I just try to be hopeful, and I didn't mean to bum you out.
No, like, look, it's fine. I mean, we do what we do because we do what we do. But yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And hey, look, hey, Simone, happy end of the year.
Happy end of 2020. And I think I can speak for everybody when I say, fuck you, 2020. You won't be missed.
Yeah, for reals. This year, you know what? They say that the Roaring 20s were a crazy, fantastic time. You had all this alcohol on ban and shit. And objectively, I would say that this 2020, this 20s was worse than the former.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I can get down with that.
Yeah. So I completely, I'm so behind you with fuck 2020. I think that should be the slogan for 2021.
Okay, here's a fun question I have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so two predictions or like two dreams, right?
Okay.
What is your realistic dream for this time next year? And then what is your like pie in the sky dream for this time next year?
Okay. So realistic dream for next year is that I have my own house and I am no longer living with my parents. That is the realistic dream.
I think that's great.
Whether I'm working for a law firm or whether I'm working for anything else, even like
a pimp?
Janitor. Yeah, a pimp. I could do that. I would be a great sex worker. I would do anything for money.
He's going to have an OnlyFans account this time next year, guys. Just you
Y'all. You can see it. I think my OnlyFans, and this will be my question now that you've brought it up. So it's completely not creepy because you know the man in the relationship didn't bring it up. I will ask you this when we will come back to this, but I would definitely will have an OnlyFans by the end of this next year, 2021. So that's my realistic goal: having a house that I live in, which is mine,
your own place, some sort of gainful employment. Yeah,
exactly. Completely big. Or ugly, audacious goal will be by December 2021, I will have a holiday home in South Africa, which I visit every summer to spend time with my best friend, Simone LaRue.
Which neighborhood in Cape Town is it in?
I love Rosebank. It's where I'm from. It's where I was based, and I love Rosebank.
It's very central.
Yeah, exactly. How about you? So realistic and then unrealistic.
Pie in the sky. Okay, so realistic, I would just like a steady job. I think that would be great. And I would like also for Rudy for his business to have taken off.
Okay, cool.
Like nothing crazy, not like huge salaries or anything, but just you know, I want a dual income for both of us.
Yeah, something concrete. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like to have not had to move home to my parents because I'm very broke at any point during the year. That would be really nice. That would be pleasant.
That's a good one.
Pie in the sky, right? I have gotten my shit together throughout next year. I've written a whole novel.
Oh shit.
I've edited it. And now I just have agents courting me for it, really. Places are fighting over it. Places want to give me movie rights. I'm being paid advances. I didn't even know I could get paid. They're flying me places. They're getting ready for a book tour. Like this time next year, I'll be like, oh God, I'm so busy for this podcast. I've got a whole book tour to plan. COVID's in the wind. I mean, we've all gotten vaccinated. We're very
everyone's
happy.
Fine.
My cats are thriving and I've got a dog as well. Fuck it.
Oh shit, a dog's in the mix now. Drama. Fantastic. Oh, that's so wonderful. I can see that. I believe in you. I believe that could be a realistic dream. I know that's your big, hairy, audacious goal, but even so, like, I feel like that could be a thing. You're an incredible writer.
I just, my dream is just for the publishing process to be very easy for me, contrary to all the popular wisdom.
I feel like everyone thinks that the hardest part is writing, and to a large extent it really is, but also finding an agent, like if you don't go through an agent, you're fucking done. It's Amazon self-publishing for you, and that's it. Like those are the rules.
And nothing against Amazon
No.
self-publishers. It's just, who knows? Maybe in a year I'll be there. I don't know.
Who knows? Yes, exactly. But
There,
I
but
think
for the
that's a
grace
real
of
thing.
God, go I.
I do think that's a real thing. I mean, if anyone has not checked out Simone's writing, it is exceptional. Like genuinely so good. She is the person to, like, if you want to bet on something, that is the person you want to go to.
Or
She
if
just
you
needs
want
to
to invest.
Or if you want to invest, she is who you want to go to. That is a fact. Now, time for my question to you, which sprung from yours. I want to make that very clear to our listeners, because if I bring it up by myself, I'm a creepy white dude. If you brought it up and I'm just feeding off of it, different vibe. So what is your only
friends? We're all friends and family here. Yeah.
Exactly. So what is your OnlyFans account about?
Oh, it's all feet. It's all feet
pics
pics all the time. I have really nice feet, if I do say so myself, and I've been told.
Okay.
I have lovely feet, and I have great calves too, so it can really be like right up to the knee, It's just gonna be on my feet doing weird stuff.
Fair. I think that's a good plan. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, what's your niche?
My
Ventriloquism?
Yes, ventriloquism. No, I was gonna say naked cooking, naked vegetarian cooking. That's my vibe, and like occasional workout videos. Again, naked workout videos. So like pull-ups.
It's like those TikTok e-boys where, they like act out scenes where, they're like looking dead at the camera, but it's like just finding out that your girlfriend's cheating on you or like confessing your love or whatever. But it's like, you cooking naked, and it's like, oh, hey, babe, I know you worked really late last night and I support you fully. Here are some pancakes. Like, I feel like you could just hit that supportive boyfriend niche,
that is definitely my vibe. It's the tell me about your day, I'm very interested. Why was Bethany such a bitch today? I don't understand why she was being such a bitch.
Exactly.
There's no need
and
for
like,
it.
Babe, I'll drop my career in a heartbeat if we've got to move somewhere. I believe in you.
Exactly. That's my niche. Like, I hate the word, but simp is kind of my middle name.
Oh God.
So for everyone who is already like 15 minutes deep into this podcast, we want to make it very, very clear that we have been pre-drinking for this final episode of
We told you last episode we'd be hammered for this, and we delivered.
Oh God, it's been a day. So Simone, tell me, what have you been pre-drinking? What are you drinking now? Let's go through it.
I've been very responsible, actually, Chad, because I've just been sticking with the rosé. As a white woman, rosé, as you know, is mother's milk for me.
Yes.
So I was day drinking at a bar earlier because there's a friend of mine who's in town. We split a bottle of rosé. And now I'm back here and I'm drinking a very full glass of rosé. I'm going to put it next to my head for a comparison. And it's great. I'm having a really good time. How about you?
Yeah. So I pre-drank with a bottle of with a bottle of white, which was a Cape Town wine. Got to go back to your roots. That's you can take the man out of South Africa, but you can't take the man the South African out of the man.
South African wines, I mean.
Oh, incredible. So I started with a white. I finished that bottle before lunch. I had lunch, noodles and vegetarian sausage. Chef's kiss. And then I'm on the noodles. Oh yeah. And then I'm on the red. And this red, which is a Barbara d'Asti, which is in Italy. For our YouTube listeners, I am now holding the bottle to the camera. This was a fucking Christmas gift from one of my students.
Oh, thanks,
how nice
Chad
is
students.
that? Hashtag thanks, Alex. Thank you for your bottle of wine. You're gonna get me tanked today. And as you know, the saying goes, bottle of white wine before red is fine. That's how the saying goes.
Yeah, no, I think that's the correct order, especially like for me in Cape Town because it's so hot during the day. So you have a very chilled white wine, and then as it cools down into the evening and you're having like more food, then it's a red.
Yeah, 100%. That's how it works. And as young people verging on the brink of their third decade, this is how we do now. I mean, I'm not scared. I'm not scared for the hangover tomorrow. Not even a little bit.
No. I don't give a fuck. I don't know what we're having for dinner, but I can tell you now it's gonna be carbs.
Just something to absorb to like help out that liver.
Yeah. Can I tell you, we can cut this out of the podcast. Can I tell you the disgusting snack I had just before we started recording? Because I got back from the bar and I was waiting for you to come up. I took plain Sasko brown bread and I put butter on it. And then in South Africa, you can get store-bought crispy onion.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like really heavily fried onion that you sprinkle over like salads or fucking whatever. And I sprinkled that over my buttered bread and I folded it over and that was my sandwich.
You are the most precious human being. Never change. The world needs more people like you because that is so perfect.
Oh, God.
Oh, how beautiful. Oh, thank God for you. Thank fucking God.
No regrets. Speaking of no regrets, do you want to tell the people what we're doing today? What's our theme? What's our vibe?
Yes, our vibe is fuck 2020. Let's just do fuck you 2020. We decided let's put away the bad movies of any year previous to this and let's just do things that make us very, very happy.
Yeah.
So we decided to do Legally Blonde, which surprisingly was Simone's movie and not mine.
Mm-hmm.
And the 1997 animated Hercules movie, which both of us feel like both of these movies are just quintessentially
fantastic.
Like you can't help but smile at these movies.
Yeah,
right?
You can't be sad while you're watching these movies.
No, and even if you are sad, by the end of it, the hour and a half afterwards, you're just like, fuck it, everything is good in the world. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I don't even know. My wine is 14.5%. How are you? What's your rosé?
I have no idea, but you go first because you've had like a whole bottle of wine and I've like had a half or 3/4 of a bottle of wine, you know?
Okay, that's fair. I think
so you need to just get this out of the way quick before you become a little more incoherent.
Okay, and speaking of a little more incoherent, I'm just gonna down this glass and then refill it, and then I'm gonna start.
Down it, down it, down it, down it, down it, down it. Yay!
Oh, this does not make for good podcasting.
Okay, do the synopsis quick before it kicks in.
All right, hold on. I want to get this on.
Oh, that's full.
Here we go. Yeah, I don't do things with stems. Fuck stems. Okay, this is a long one because I love this movie.
Famously detailed plot of Hercules.
There's a little, like, I want to do a bit of singing, but I think it's too far gone.
No.
Okay, so this is the origin stories of Hercules, the demigod who went from zero to hero just like that. Before we get into that, we should talk about Zeus and his business. So back when the world was new, these giant mutants called Titans ran the world, creating chaos wherever they went. That was until Zeus, voiced by Rip Torn, came about and locked the Titans in a hole and sealed them beneath the ocean. From then on, him and his buddies ran the world from their home on Mount Olympus. So Zeus then marries Hera, voiced by Samantha Egar, and then have a son, Hercules, voiced by Roger Bart. And that's when things start to go wrong. Zeus's brother, Hades, voiced by James Woods, has a plan, you see. In exactly 18 years, the planets will align, allowing Hades to free the Titans from their prison and thus retake Mount Olympus. Hades wants to take over the head god position because because he really hates Zeus, being the god of the because he was made the god of the underworld, which was a job given by Zeus to him. This is what happens when you drink. It's just a fucking mess.
Which was a job that Zeus gave to him.
I hate this so much. Okay.
No, you're doing great. You're doing really well. You're doing really well. We're there. We're close.
Paragraph 2. Okay, so
It's fine.
okay, so Hades launches this attack on Zeus, right? But there's one problem. If Hercules decides to fight, Hades will lose. So Hades comes up with a new plan. He's going to kidnap Hercules with the help of his two henchmen, Pain, voiced by the immaculate Bobcat Goldthwait, and Panic, voiced by Matt Freeviewer. They're going to turn him mortal and then kill him. Unfortunately, Pain and Panic screw up the plan and fail to kill Hercules. However, they have turned him mortal, but he still retains his super strength because he didn't drink every last drop of the formula that would have made him entirely mortal. Cut to 17 years later, and Hercules is now living on Earth with this lovely couple who found him as a baby. Unfortunately, because he is so clumsy yet so strong, he just causes endless amounts of problems, and Hercules is a bit of a pariah amongst the townsfolk. He feels like he doesn't belong because of this. That's when his parents tell him about the night that they found him and how he was wearing a necklace embossed with the symbol of the gods. So Hercules decides to go to the Temple of Zeus to try and get some answers. At the Temple of Zeus, he learns who his true parents are and finds out that he can't go back to Mount Olympus because it's strictly for the gods, not mortals. And the only way he can join them is to become a god again. In order to do so, he must show himself to be a true hero. So the only thing to do is seek out a hero trainer, the hero trainer, Philoctetes, voiced by Danny DeVito, so he can teach Hercules how to be a true hero. After some adorable back and forth, Phil agrees to train Hercules, and Hercules becomes this less awkward, beautiful hero. He is now voiced by Tate Donovan. They then go on a road trip to test out Hercules' abilities. That's when they meet Megara, voiced by Susan Egan. She's this totally gorgeous damsel in distress with a dark secret. Her soul belongs to Hades, and she has to do his bidding. Over the course of the movie, Meg and Hercules fall in love. All the while, Hercules is building up his clout by doing more heroic deeds. This is until Phil learns that the truth about Meg and tells Hercules. They have a falling out. Then Meg's true identity is revealed, so she and Hercules also have a massive falling out, and Hades makes a deal with Hercules that he must give up his strength for 24 hours in exchange for Meg's soul. The other part of the deal is that no harm can come to Meg, or else the deal is off. As you can expect, halfway through Hades' master plan, when it looks like he's about to win, Meg ends up getting hurt. But she gets really badly hurt, like full-on marble fucking column lands on her.
Injury. Yeah.
Like she should have died straight away.
She should have died AQAP. And like he's like picking her up, and I'm like, dude, do not touch her spine right now.
No, that's the end. Like if he picks up her spine, fucking power done. So this gives Hercules his power back, so he can save Zeus and stop Hades. After Hades' plan is thwarted, Meg dies, so Hercules goes to the underworld to rescue her. But because he is willing to sacrifice his life for hers, it shows that he is a true hero and thus gives him the status of a god. He can now return to Mount Olympus. But Hercules now
these burps. It's like the jinx up in here.
I fucking love this drunk ass podcast. This is why we should do it all the time. But Hercules realizes now that that this isn't what he wanted. He wants to be with Meg instead. So he gives up his god status to return to Earth to stay with her. The end.
Beautiful. Well done.
I got through it. I don't know how you're going to do it in a half hour, but here we go.
Okay, Chad, what is your cliffhanger for this movie? I know it's hard to pick one, but
I mean, I wish we could just play the whole movie, but it has to be this one. And it's the scene where Zeus is like, it's not the size of your strength, but it's the strength of your heart.
Heart.
And you know what, Simone? I don't know if you know this, but your ex and I did an ancient Greek mythology course together. And
yes,
I literally quoted that in my essay for that course.
That's beautiful.
I think I got like a 72% for that, which is a first in South Africa, which unbelievably happy about.
Nice. Okay, more important question, Chad. What is your favorite song in this whole movie?
It has to be Zero to Hero, right?
None. Well, for me,
Uh-huh.
it's the training montage song. The
Oh yeah.
So you wanna
Be a
hero,
hero,
kiddo?
kid. Well, that's the
Whoop-de-doo.
do. That is good. I do love that. Man, that's the
Anything
greenhorn.
with Danny DeVito. Yeah.
I love Danny DeVito as Philoctetes in this. He's just the perfect guy, and I mean it reflects like later in his life, I guess, in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like Danny DeVito is a dream.
So funny.
He's
Yeah.
so funny.
I think this movie is really made by the side characters, to be honest. Like Hercules is great. He's just this big dumb himbo. He's really strong, and that's his thing. He's not smart.
No.
He's not like really anything, but he's like, I'm real strong and I want to be a hero. And it's great. And even like Meg, while she's falling in love with him, she's like, oh, he's so dumb and I like him so much. And it's great. I think we can both agree though that Hades is really the star of this movie.
Oh, without a doubt. Like, he is such a pinnacle part of this movie to the point where in Descendants 3, when it wasn't James Woods who played Hades, it was a little disappointing.
It was upsetting.
Yeah. I think Hades makes the film so much that every other variation is just completely null and void. Yeah.
I mean, I think he really is what made this movie iconic. Like, I think he was given these lines for Hades and he was like, I'm just going to improv a couple things. You guys let me know what you think. And he made this like really flat, like, oh, I want to take over the world villain into like this like sassy, bitchy, sarcastic, incredible villain. And it's so fun to watch. And I mean, realistically, like him and Hercules only really meet in the third act?
Yeah, exactly.
The rest of the time, like Hercules has no idea he exists, but he's just such a good villain.
Exactly. Like his whole plan is insane. Like if you think about like how the movie progresses, like I love this movie. I've watched it 1,000 times. But if you actually think about what his plan is, it's maybe 6 minutes of the movie. He literally comes in, takes Mount Olympus for like 4 seconds with the Titans, and then it's over. And then the rest of the movie is basically Hercules saving Megara. Yeah. But like, I just want to see more of Zeus. More of Hades. Like with the Fates, with Panic and Pain.
The Fates
it's
are
perfect.
Incredible.
Oh, the Fates are the best bit about, like, one of the best bits about this movie. Like when they like do their little rhyme in the beginning,
with the
and like
eye.
this, the swapping of the eye is perfect. And I think for me, as I grow older, like as a youngster, this movie was perfect because like it shows like true love and how strength is really important, whatever. But like as the movie goes on, it's the small lines, the in-betweeny lines that make it. Like that bit where he's like, sorry, I must have got something like a little hock of moussaka stuck in my throat, and shit like that. Perfect. Don't need anything else.
So good. And the thing about like Hades' plan, right, is he faces zero repercussions. Like actually, because like you know, he like unleashes the Titans. Hercules defeats the Titans and frees the other gods. The other gods are back on Mount Olympus, and he just like goes back to the underworld, and he's just chilling there. It's only when Hercules comes to get Meg that like he's like, oh yeah, haha, okay, I guess you can get Meg. And like even when he punches him into the pool of the souls that are going down, it's made very clear by Pain and Panic that he will get out eventually.
Yeah.
Because he's a god, like he can't die in there. So like he faces zero consequences. It's just Zeus being like, you know what, Hades, you made an attempt and it didn't work, and that's fair.
Exactly. Like this movie is so nonsensical. Like it's literally just a fever dream because it's insane. Like everything about it makes no sense, and like none of it is canon. Like if anyone has any sort of ancient mythology sort of references, you'll understand. Like Hera hates Zeus. Hera can't fucking stand Zeus. And this movie is just like, oh my baby boy, and
my baby boy and my dear husband.
Exactly. Where I think, look, Hera is the real sort of victim, let's be honest, of ancient history, because Zeus
she gets her revenge on Zeus every now and again,
but Zeus cannot keep it in his pants. Zeus has a problem.
This was also the thing I was thinking about. And I think they almost have to make Zeus like a faithful husband and father or whatever. Because, the whole thing is like Hercules, he gets adopted by these mortal parents and they're like, oh, they found Hercules, but it was too late because he was mortal, so he could never come back to Mount Olympus. But they do not attempt contact at any point.
No.
And we know for a fact from the mythology that Zeus can turn himself into any fucking animal and come down and bang any human he wants. But he didn't do that to like talk to his son.
Exactly. It makes no sense. No, his transformography powers are purely for banging. Like that is all he does.
Not for bonding.
How great would have that
love
been if the muses were just like, and Zeus came down to earth. He turned into a swan and fucked a woman.
Beyonce just narrating that shit.
Like, let's talk about that as well. Like, I know it was a plot device to just get like the story going forward.
No,
but
it was such a clever idea.
The muses are so brilliant, right?
Honestly, if you think about like the pitch for this movie, it's a little insane, right? Because it's like a rags to riches, boy goes to the big city to become a celebrity story.
Yeah.
Based on Hercules, where he then saves the world, and his love interest is this like really jaded, angry smoker. That's just what her voice sounds like. And the whole thing is narrated, again, this Greek play or like Greek drama is narrated by this like African-American gospel group headed by Beyonce. And like the pitch is insane, but it just works so well.
It doesn't make sense. Like if you were to come in 2020 or even 2019 when the world was fine-ish, and you were just like, right, okay, let's fuck all of canon. Like Titans were just like these 4 guys who represented the elements of the world. Like no one would greenlight that. But back in 1997, very different world. Let's have this dumbass who's just very strong fall in love with this woman who is drawn as if her hips were her main fucking driving force. That woman can only walk with her hips and think with her hips.
She's got some spinal problems for sure.
Yeah, for reals. And I think that also speaks to the drawing of this movie. The animation of this movie is insane.
It's
like
so
if you
great.
objectively looked at this, like it's all spirals. Everything about this is spirals.
It's great.
It's perfect.
And also, let's remember that the most famous person in this movie is Danny DeVito.
Yeah. And he's like a secondary character. It makes no sense.
I'm obsessed with everything about it. I love this movie so much. The moment that he young Hercules starts singing the I have often dreamed of a far off place. I just like tears in my eyes.
Yes,
I'm ready to go. Meg's song about how she won't say she's in love, banger.
Perfect.
Iconic. Perfect.
Yes.
It's also good.
It makes this movie is quintessentially Disney because it makes no sense, but it works so well.
Yeah.
Because why should there be music? I don't understand, but there is music. And they were like, cool, let's do music. The Rock is 2019's most famous person of the world. Like, yes, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is the person, but he couldn't even make Hercules work. The only time that Hercules has worked is this film from
movie.
1997. I
agree.
It makes, I don't think, like, even if you made this a live action, wouldn't work. It just works how it was.
It's this perfect little anomaly of a fantastic movie, and it brought me so much joy to rewatch it. Thank you so much for choosing it.
You're so welcome. I know the opposition I got to Southpaw, but I'm so very glad that this was what we went with instead of Southpaw.
Me too, frankly.
Yeah, although I might watch this afterwards and just drunkenly cry. Yeah.
I mean,
so
that's
like
between you and Jesus, like.
So instead of scenes that could have saved it, because for this episode we've decided like scenes that could have saved it doesn't work because we both love these movies. They did so well, whatever. Yeah. So what is your favorite scene of this movie?
Favorite scene? Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna stick with my initial answer, which is I love a good montage. I love a good training montage. I love a good improvement montage. Danny DeVito singing the soundtrack to that montage, fantastic. So just the whole training thing for Hercules, that
Yeah.
song, immaculate. The rules, fantastic. The comedy, great. It's so wonderful. Every time I watch it, I just feel so much immeasurable joy.
You can't feel anything but joy for this film.
Yeah.
Like, despite the fact that it's completely nonsensical, despite the fact that it's non-canonical, like, you can't help but love this film. And that song in itself, like, that scene where he eventually, like, does the damsel in distress thing and he, like, punches the fucking fist. He, like, double punches the sharks. And, like, what?
It's fantastic.
You can't get wrong with that.
It's you.
I mean, my eyes teared up when he was just like, it's not a masterpiece, it's a work of art. And he throws the fucking sword.
Incredible. Perfect in every way. What is your scene? What is your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is the scene with the Hydra, because while
that's a great scene.
It is perfect. Like,
start
while
to
it
finish.
Is, while it is like it's probably the most canonical scene of this Hercules movie, because in the 12 trials, Hercules does face a Hydra. It's just great because you start with the great joke, which is call IXXII. Fucking funniest joke of one of the funniest jokes of the whole movie.
So good.
Perfect. So good. And that's what makes this movie, is the little extra bits like that. And then you've got the Hydra, and Phil is just like so disappointed when Hercules almost fails, and then he breaks out of the fist, and it's like, fucking yes, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's perfect. There's the whole crowd going wild.
It's perfect.
Incredible. Yeah.
I also feel like the people from Thebes are also kind of like 2020 people, where it's sort of like disaster after disaster, and you're just like,
that was after the earthquake, but before the floods.
And I feel like that is very 2020 in its vibe.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Like,
so
we
well
could
done,
spend,
Chad. You nailed this.
I'm very happy that we chose Hercules in the end. I'm not even gonna ask you, would you watch this again? Because of course you would. We're Disney fans.
Right now, let's fucking go.
Let's do it. I mean, I'm talking to this wonderful woman on Hinge, and I haven't told her that I have a podcast because, you know, but she's just like, oh, I'm a Disney fan. And I was like, are you a Disney fan, or have you watched Descendants?
I know more than you.
Yeah, I haven't told her that I have a podcast, and I'm ready for her to be like, I've messaged her. I'm waiting for her to say that she hasn't seen Descendants so I can just ghost her. Because if you haven't seen Descendants,
no,
are you
that's a
really
date idea. I
Disney
feel like
fan?
that's a first date idea. Honestly, if she can't enjoy Descendants, like, it's not worth it, right? So you just be like, hey, do you want to come over, like, Netflix and chill? You make a delicious dinner, maybe a good pasta dish. I love a fucking good pasta dish.
Okay.
And then you start playing Descendants and just see how she reacts. Because, I mean, Rotten to the Core is a banger, and it's the first song. And if she doesn't like that, like, she's out.
To be fair, like, I'm really confused by Rotten to the Core, because I feel like if I only date a man, will Rotten to the Core work? And like, I'm not above that, but like, if I bring home a boy and like we watch Rotten to the Core, will it work? I don't think a woman would really appreciate, like, a straight
Rotten to
woman.
the Core, you sexist asshole.
No, but like a straight woman.
I'm dating a man.
Okay, we'll discuss your sexuality at a different point.
I feel like I've been extremely straight. I am like Kinsey 1 straight. As much as I try to be a little gay, it just doesn't work.
Oh God, this podcast is a disaster. I love our final.
I never thought my sexuality would get called into question. I feel like I'm the straightest person I know.
I don't know. Like, I feel like if you like Descendants, you gotta be a little bi, right?
Okay, You know what? Maybe I'm a Kinsey too. Is that what you want to hear, Chad?
I just feel like your sexuality is almost like the English tier system with COVID, tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, I don't understand how it all works.
Okay, the Kinsey scale. Here we go. Education time. The Kinsey scale is a real spectrum of like straightness to homosexuality, right? So a 1 is extremely straight, like you only like the opposite sex, and a 6 is like extremely gay, like you only like the same sex. And then the spectrum is everything in between.
Right.
So obviously 3, 4 would be like bisexual.
Yeah.
And then like a 2 is like you're straight, but you're like, maybe.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah. So when I say it's a Kinsey 2, it's like I'm very straight, but like, I don't know,
maybe.
Selma Hayek in Dusk Till Dawn did something to me, but I feel like that's universal.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I'm glad that we could go through. I'm glad that Hercules could go through your sexuality. What I love about our podcast is the fact that we draw things. We're so like Spider-Man in the fact that we just launch a web and hope for the fuck that we latch onto something. And that is what our podcast is based on. And that I am about that.
That's very true. It's beautiful. Yeah. Just based on hope.
Based on hope. Yeah, exactly. Right. Now it is your turn, because there's no point asking if you would watch this again. So now it is your turn.
Yeah.
Let's go through Legally Blonde.
I'm so ready. Okay.
I'm so excited for you to do a synopsis for this.
Elle Woods, played by Reese Witherspoon, is a sorority girl in her final year at college, and she is happy to live her life riding off of her looks and inherited wealth. She also expects her very wealthy boyfriend, Warner, played by Matthew Davis, to propose to her any day. That night, though, Warner tells her that actually he's going to law school now, so he needs to be serious and date a serious girl if he wants to be a senator by the time he's 30, and he breaks up with her. Elle is devastated, but she decides to get back up on that horse, and she decides, you know what, fuck it, I'll go to Harvard Law School, I'll win Warner back, and I'll get everything I want. She studies super hard, her friends support her all the way through her studying for the LSATs. She makes a kick-ass application video, and she gets a 179 on her LSAT?
Yeah, 179, I think.
So she gets into Harvard Law, and she is there exclusively to win Warner back at first. When she's there, though, she finds that people are really hard to deal with. Harvard Law is hard. It's not fun like being in Southern California. There are no event mixers. People think she's weird because she wears pink all the time. She struggles with Professor Stromwell, played by Holland Taylor. While she's like crying because Professor Stromwell decided to use the Socratic method on the first fucking day. She meets Emmett. He's a TA, but he's also already an attorney, so he's doing really well, played by Luke Wilson. And he like already offers her some guidance. She's like, cool, that's very kind of you. And she also meets her nemesis, Vivian Kensington, played by Selma Blair, who's this very wealthy, preppy girl. And it turns out, actually, unfortunately, she's engaged to Warner. She's the serious girlfriend that he was talking about. Devastating. At some point, after she finds all this out, once she realizes everyone's an asshole and Warner tells her that she's not smart enough to get through law school, she's like, hey, what if I actually kicked law school's ass? And then she does exactly that. She then gets into Professor Callahan, played by Victor Garber. He has a team of students who help with actual cases, and she gets put on the case to help Brooke Taylor Wyndham, played by Allie Larder. Brooke has been accused of murdering her husband in cold blood by the husband's daughter, Chutney, played by our girl, Linda Cardellini.
I couldn't believe it.
Elle is actually nailing it in the case. She bonds with Brooke because Brooke is from the same sorority as her. She's doing really well. And then she gets sexually harassed by Professor Callahan. She's ready to quit, especially after Vivian, who only saw part of the exchange, accuses her of being a huge slut and only getting ahead because, you know, she is sleeping with everyone. But Emmett manages to talk her out of it. He believes Elle immediately. He's like, listen, we'll fix it. They talk to Brooke. Brooke is like, actually, Professor Callahan, you're fucking off the case. I want Elle to represent me. Elle handles the case. She makes a breakthrough based on perm knowledge, and she gets She finds out that Chutney's the one who committed the murder. She gets Brooke Taylor off, and that is her first case as an incredible lawyer. She's a strong, independent woman. And the last scene is her at Harvard graduation. She's already been offered a job at a prestigious law firm. Emmett has started his own law firm. Vivian is her best friend. Warner is alone and useless. The end.
You know what? Fuck me, that was amazing. Just snaps for you all the way.
I just made that synopsis from the soul, really.
Yeah, you couldn't otherwise. So what is your scene that could have saved it?
Listen, this was really tough because there are a lot of
There are so many scenes.
iconic lines. So, but the number one I had to go with was this one, which is when she's at the party and Warner's talking to her and he's like, "You're too dumb. Like, you won't pass this course." But she goes like, I feel like we both got into the same law school though. I feel like we're both doing the same classes. And it's like partially her fighting with Warner, but also like her realizing it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's great.
I love moments like this. Like I love any moment where like it's this girl like low-key being like, wait, I'm really fucking smart. I can fucking do this. And just moving forward with it. I love it. I love that scene every time.
You know, like I hate to make the comparison between Elle Woods and RBG, but RBG never graduated from Harvard. Like what happened with her life is she went to Columbia because Harvard wouldn't graduate her because she was a woman. And then every single year, basically Harvard came back to her and was like, "Can we give you an honorary degree?" And RBG was like, "No, you wouldn't give me a degree because I was a woman. Not a fuck." So RBG didn't die. RBG died without a degree from Harvard because they wouldn't fucking give it to her.
Love her. Obsessed with her.
Exactly. And Elle Woods and RBG are basically the same person because it's just like they love the law and they fight for what's right. And that's amazing.
And it was just like this moment where Elle was like, actually, I'm really fucking good at law. Like, I'm actually really smart and I've worked really hard. And maybe this guy I like is actually kind of dumb and kind of a dick who doesn't understand that I'm smart.
Exactly. And it's great because it's so funny when he's just like, "Oh, Pooh Bear, come back to me." And she's like, actually, you know what? I'm fucking not gonna because you're an asshole. And that's awesome.
My close second for the cliffhanger was when Warner's like, "You got into Harvard?" And she's like, "What? Like it's hard?"
Yeah.
Incredible
I thought that
line.
would be your second.
Yeah.
I thought that would be your scene that could have saved it because it is great. And I mean, it is such a laugh. And there are moments.
How did this make you feel? Like, I mean, you've been through law school, right? Like how accurate were the lectures? I know that there aren't a lot of lectures and stuff, but like how did it make you feel?
I mean, it was like to a point, it was on point, like it was there, but then it wasn't. Like, we had this lecturer, Hugh Corder, who I'm going to shout out because he's just been honored by like every South African newsreel because he's just retired. Hashtag Hugh Corder is the dream. And he also used the Socratic method. So he would like literally read through the thing. But what was great about him and what I loved about him so much was he would just go, he would say a name. And if you didn't know the answer, and if you were just like, "I didn't read the case," he would just move on. And that's great.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really nice. And I think that's the right way to do things because let's be fair, you're an adult now. You have 1,000 things to do every single day. You might not read the case that week. Fuck it. Like, who gives a shit if you've read it? Yeah. Like, that's it. If you haven't read it, move on.
I feel like South African universities are maybe a little different to American ones. I know in a lot of American universities, participation counts for some of your grade. Yeah. And in South Africa, that's very much not a thing.
No, not even a little bit.
But I mean, even like a lot of our lecturers understood that, you know, we are a country with a very varied amount of income. So like some students could be working full time while also doing classes. So they aren't able to do all the reading straight away. They aren't able to attend all of the classes. And that doesn't make them bad students. That just makes them people who are, you know, trying to get through everything. So I feel like it's a little different. Like our lecturers were a lot more cognizant of the fact that you can't, like, law school can't be your whole life.
No, absolutely. I do completely agree with you. I think South African universities are very much open to the idea that you have a whole life, like, and that it just doesn't consume you. And that's very cool. It explains to the sort of practicality of what everyone's going through. I mean, this is just like a completely different story, but like on Thursday, I had my last exam of the semester.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've got another exam on the 5th of January, but fuck it.
Yikes.
So our exam was scheduled for 2:00, but because of like a system error, like the system shut down, we didn't start our exam till 4:15. And like, it's the fact that this university, like it's one of the oldest universities for law in the entire United Kingdom.
Yeah.
They weren't aware of the fact that like some people wouldn't be able to excuse that 2-hour gap, and the fact that like people have children, people have jobs. And they were just like, yeah, if you can't start at 2, start at 4:15. And that's like really fucked up. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Where like South Africa, like University of Cape Town especially, were just like very accommodating to the fact that people were mature students who might have kids, who might have other obligations, which was really, really cool.
I mean, I think it really depended on the faculty, because the medical faculty was very elitist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had to fight a couple times.
Oh, damn.
But anyway.
Yeah, I feel like our podcast has very much become an attack of University of Cape Town.
I have a lot of opinions, but let's not. Like, I have a lot of feelings about this movie, because realistically, like, as a lawyer running a top law firm, would you want first-year students on your team?
That
Not
seems
really,
insane,
probably.
Right? Like, that seems really dumb.
No, like, you'd want maybe people who are in their final year interning on your team, but certainly not like first-year law students who, like, the way that the system in America works, where you're only really starting to learn law that year, like, they don't know that much, actually. No. Like, I don't know if they necessarily have the capabilities to be that helpful.
No, exactly. You're 100% right. Like, I kind of understand it from a point of view in terms of like, there is an incredible saturation in the legal market. Like, there are a lot more law students than there are jobs. And so you want the best. But as a first-year law student, you don't know shit.
You're so dumb.
You're so dumb. And I mean, I will attribute this to my first-year girlfriend. When she said to me, the problem with first-year law students is they think they know a lot, but they actually don't. And I completely agree with that. Now, you know.
I mean, Elle Woods uses the term mens reis how many times? And wrongly,
so wrong.
Every time.
And so wrong. But you know what? It works. And I guess that's why we get paid a lot. I think.
Isn't it also illegal to impersonate an attorney?
100%.
And she does that
like
in the one scene. Were you just screaming?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think, you know, last week or 2 weeks ago, I helped you with some legal stuff. Yeah. But I made it like incredibly clear to you. Even though
I was never like, oh, my attorney says.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I made it incredibly clear to you that like I was an attorney. And like, my dad asked me for some help, and I was like, please tell your people that I am not an attorney, because you can be struck out. Like that is the end of your career before it begins. Yeah. And like, I was watching this movie and I was just like, oh, please don't do that. Like, that is a terrible idea. Like, that you're going to get struck out. Yeah. Like, so it's not true to legal fashion, but I do feel like the American system is a lot more sort of Wild West than any other system, like UK, SA, like it's very loose in how they do things.
Apparently it is also illegal in the US to impersonate an attorney when you're not one.
Although sort of Scrubs and how you, not Scrubs, Suits and How to Get Away with Murder, they just do illegal. These things. Yeah.
Okay, but things that I did enjoy.
Yes, let's move to the things that make sense.
The thing I love about this most is it's just like women supporting women, right? Like she tells her sorority sisters who are so dumb. I love them so much. She's like, no, I want to go to Harvard Law. And they're like, what do you mean? And she's like, no, I want to study law at Harvard Law. And like, after they get over their initial confusion, they're like, okay, cool. Like, that's what we're going to help you do. And her whole sorority gets behind her. No one's like, oh, stop studying, come party with us. Like everyone's very much like, oh, Elle's got to study, Elle's doing this thing. And like when she gets a 195 or whatever on the practice test, well. Everybody celebrates with her. Like nobody at any point is like, I don't think you should do this. I don't think you can do this. Even her parents, they're mostly just confused. They're like, no, but you're very pretty.
Yeah, I love the dad in this movie is one of my favorites. He's always got a martini in his hand. Why does he always have a martini?
That's my dream, frankly. And he's like, darling, Harvard Law is for people who are ugly.
It's
and there's
perfect.
even this character who's supposed to be like, I guess the stereotypical feminist, because this happened in the early 2000s where she did like women's studies and all that stuff, but then she's still like really sexist towards Elle. Like she's like, oh, Barbie, like the party's over there kind of thing. And like they don't make it overt, but it's very clear that throughout this she learns that, you know, she can't actually be judgmental of people who aren't like as quote unquote serious as her, or who like present less feminine or more feminine than her. I thought that was really nice. I like that she makes friends with Vivian eventually.
Yeah, like I think that's a really
and they realize that Warner ain't shit.
Yeah, Warner can suck a dick because that guy is the worst. Like he that whole scene where like she's like in Harvard and like she tries to win him back and she's like and he's like, oh, you'll never get into his program. You'll never, because you're just not smart enough. Like fuck that guy.
That's why it was my cliffhanger, because it's just like a perfect moment where she's like, wait, is he an asshole?
Yeah, it like the first half, like I must like for the what's it, the feminist like talking to boy against boy thing, very drunk, can't think of it.
Boy against boy.
We're movie people.
Describe this to me.
You know when boys talk, girls talk to girls about boys, and there's like the scale. What's it called?
When she and Vivian have that little heart to heart about bitching about Warner. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. I love drunk podcasting because
drunk podcasting. Your hands a lot.
Yeah. I can imagine our very sober listeners are just like, what the fuck is happening? I don't understand.
They've left the episode already. They're like, honestly, fuck these guys.
Bechdel test.
Bechdel test.
The first half of this movie very much fails the Bechdel test. But then the second half, when she realizes like, oh, wait, I'm very fucking clever about this. Like, I can do this. This is like I love everything about this movie from the second half where she's just like, oh, wait, I don't need him. I'm fucking brilliant in myself. Bend and snap. Like, she is just the most wonderful person. And like, let's just talk about Reese Witherspoon as a human being.
Oh my God, I love Reese Witherspoon so much.
Like,
she's so good.
She's so good. And like, she's so underappreciated in who she is.
I don't know if you've seen her speech. I forget where the speech was, but she talks about how like she was working in movies and how the line she always hated to read from a female character was, what do we do now? She was like, I've never heard a woman in my life say, what do we do now?
That's fair. Yeah, exactly.
And how she's always, I think she's got her own production company now, or she's a big producer. So she always goes for things where like it subverts that expectation, where women aren't like, oh, what do we do now? And that's the kind of character she goes for as well. She's spectacular. She's perfect. And I mean, everything about Elle Woods is great, right? Like her character arc isn't like growing and changing. It's about actually learning to accept who she is and embracing who she is. And the costume design for that is so great too, right? Like when she joins, when she's an intern at this legal team, you can see she's really trying to like tone it down and blend in with all the other Bostonians, where she's wearing very muted black colors and stuff. And then when she's hired as Brooke's attorney and she has to come in and actually depose the witness, she's like in a bright pink suit. Fantastic. Great costume design, just great character development. Like it's just her, and she's always, the whole time, she's so gracious. When they're like, oh, sorry, you can't actually join our study group, she's like, oh, fair enough. Like so full of grace. She doesn't call them assholes or anything. When the one women's studies lady is like, oh, you'd probably call me a dyke and blah blah blah, and she's like, I'd actually never use that word. Just so perfect.
No, she is.
She's like, lovely the whole way through. She's nice to that one really nerdy guy who studied Russian literature.
She goes up and like slaps him and is like,
lovely.
Why would you give me the best night of my life and then leave?
Yeah, she helps him get laid.
Like perfect human being.
She's kind to everyone all the time, and people are such dicks to her, and she's just always so gracious. She's such a wonderful character.
Yeah. And I think like people always look down at this movie and be like, oh, Legally Blonde, you like Legally Blonde? Like, fuck you. This movie is actually so sincere. Because like,
yeah, it's
okay,
great.
Exactly. Like you can like, fine, let go of the fact that there's a Bechdel test. Let go of the fact, like, but she is just there to try and better herself. And like, this is really explored in the second one where her dog is gay. Like, it's just the fact that like, whatever she does is just very sincere. It's nothing to do with like superficiality. Like, you would think like the other members of her sorority party are just very much like, oh, BLM, like let's like support Black Lives Matter and everything. But she would genuinely be for Black Lives Matter. Like if this was remade. And that's what's beautiful about Elle Woods, because she genuinely cares about these people.
She cares so much about people. Even like her little scene where she's having the worst day because she just found out that Warner's engaged and she goes for a manicure. Like she literally stops at the first salon she sees and she's like in tears and she's like, I just need you to fix my nails. And she's like crying. And the lady's like, oh, I divorced my husband and he kept the dog. And she's like, that's awful. Like, it's so, you can't help but love her. You love her every second, even in her fucking Harvard admission video, which Harvard doesn't take admission videos. That's not a real thing.
I would love for that. Like, I've known people who've gone to Harvard, and like, I would fucking love, like, I would love to do a Harvard course just for the lols more than anything, and just be like in a bikini, just be like, and that's why you should take me.
But apparently, I was watching like Real Lawyer Reacts to Legally Blonde kind of thing.
Okay.
And he was talking about her admission process and how, you know, the counselor's like, well, you have bachelor's in like history of fashion or whatever, and how it's ridiculous. But he was like, actually, Harvard Law wants diversity in the background. Like, they don't just want a bunch of political science majors, you know, they want people who have studied all kinds of things. So actually they'd be very interested in people who have a bachelor's in fashion history. Like, that would be great. It would make them a really interesting lawyer. Like, Harvard Law wouldn't necessarily turn that down. And I was like, oh, interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think, you know, we could both get into Harvard. Like, if we had actually wanted to. No, like, let's be honest.
You know
like,
what? Yeah, this is going to be something I never have to prove. Just if I wanted to get into Harvard Law, I totally could.
Not even Harvard Law, like an MBA or something, because you've done a bachelor's in fucking
I've
management.
I've got an honors degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
we could get into Harvard. Like, let's be honest. Like, it's not that big deal.
What? Like it's hard?
And like it's hard. That is one of my favorite scenes of all
It's so
time when
good.
like he's just like, you got into Harvard Law, and he's like, and she's just like, what? Like it's hard? Perfect. Absolutely brilliant.
Iconic.
Yes, yes.
Okay, what is your favorite scene from this movie?
My favorite scene from this movie is the bend and snap, but not the bend and snap where they're like practicing, the bend and snap where she does it and breaks his nose, because you know
So
what?
good. Yeah.
He is so delightful, and he's like trying to be this guy who's like this sexy UPS worker. He's just like, hey,
Yeah.
I've got this package for her, and he breaks his nose. It's just perfect, and I
It
love
is
that
flawless.
scene because like, let's be like that is real life, where you plan this thing in your mind that's gonna be like,
Yeah.
chef's kiss, beautiful, everything's gonna work out perfect, but it never does. And that's what I think this movie really encapsulates, is this perfection of everything going wrong, but it works out perfectly. Yes. So when she breaks his nose, chef's kiss. What about you? What's your favorite scene?
My favorite scene. You know what? I'm gonna go for the courtroom scene when she solves the case, because I remember watching this and being, and like the moment Linda Cardellini is like, "Oh well, I guess I had a perm," I audibly gasped. I was like, "She couldn't have showered." Any Cosmo girl would know, and
Anyone would know.
I love it so much. Like it's clearly Elle floundering. It's pure luck that Linda Cardellini decided to mention that she had a perm. She could have said she had one on like any other day and it would have been fine. I love it so much. I love Linda Cardellini to death. I think she's fantastic. I love her friends in the courtroom when they show up to support her, and they're like so supportive, but they're so dumb. And they're like,
So dumb.
look, there's a judge and everything. It's so cute. Incredible. Flawless. Perfect. Chef's kiss.
This movie, like, everyone thinks that this movie could just go away, but
No.
Legally Blonde is just gonna be a thing.
Flawless.
And like, I have my interview with the law firm on the 11th of January.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. And I'm gonna mention this. I'm gonna say to them, like, fuck them. If they don't want to take me because of Legally Blonde, then fuck them. But like, I'm gonna mention it.
The moment that always makes me think of you in Legally Blonde is like during her like montage where she's like being serious, and she's like on the elliptical reading a textbook.
Law books, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's Chad. That's Chad in a nutshell. If he could, he would just be on that elliptical reading those law books.
You're not wrong. Like when I'm at the gym and I'm doing like twist grip curls on a bicep day, I'm listening to a contract lecture, because that's what you gotta do. And you know what? If this law firm won't accept me because I love Legally Blonde, then fuck them.
They're not worth it.
Really?
They're not worth
They're
it.
not worth
I'm pretty
it.
sure half their staff is there because of Legally Blonde.
Exactly. It's just one of the natural things.
It
So
even
fuck
made me
'em.
consider being a lawyer for a hot minute. And then I was like, oh, actually, I hate everything about this. But I
Yeah.
thought about it.
You see, that's the thing. I think it's a ratio for most people. It's sort of like, what do I love more, law or money? And for me, it's money. I love money.
And there's nothing wrong with that. No shame.
No, exactly. In a capitalistic society that we live in, like, money is the thing. So yeah, like, this movie is quintessential for any lawyer. Like, I'm sorry, if you're a lawyer and you don't like Legally Blonde, why are you a lawyer?
What's wrong with you?
Why are you a thing?
What are you doing?
Yeah. I said to like I said, I probably mentioned this, like, we were writing a wills exam this week, wills and administration of estates. And I texted everyone and I was just like, oh, I was supposed to watch Legally Blonde with some friends tonight. And one of my friends was just like, oh, this is perfect. And I was just like, you know what? I like you. You're my only friend in this class because you appreciate Legally Blonde as much as I do. Yeah.
Find those people. Cling to them.
Right. Exactly. Well, Simone, we've has been
done it.
The week. I'm so happy that 2020 is done. Like, how fucking happy are you?
Honestly, thrilled, but also very scared for next year. I do not know what the next year holds.
Yeah, I want to ask you what's gonna happen next year, but after what happened last year, let's not.
No, I mean, I shudder to think of the optimistic shit we said this time last year when we were recording an episode. Naive assholes that we were.
Look, it happens. We thought the best. We are the optimistic podcast of all podcasts. No one is more optimistic than we are.
We
But-
try our best.
But I think this calls for our like our cautious optimism that we call for of every week.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's a vaccine. Both of our
There's a
both of our families have been relatively safe.
Touch wood.
Touch wood. So, you know what? Let's see what happens. 2020, what happens to what? 2021 happens to us.
Let's hope our wildest dreams come true. But for now, let's just hope our realistic dreams come true.
Exactly. We said it at the beginning.
They're just teeny tiny baby dreams that we're putting into the universe.
Exactly. Rather keep it close to the heart than let the universe ruin everything for us.
Let yourself be pleasantly surprised by life instead of very disappointed.
100%.
That's okay. And guys, listen. So usually I do a bullet journal every year. So I buy like a blank journal or like a dot grid journal and I fill it in and I like make the week plans myself and stuff. And this year I was buying my journal for next year and I was like, I actually do not have it in me to lay out the weeks myself. I don't have it in me to be this girl. And that's okay. So I bought a pre-laid out diary for 2021. And that's fine. Guys, whatever you need to do to feel okay going into 2021 is fine as long as it's like healthy and you're not hurting anyone, including yourself. But like whatever you need to do, whatever exception you need to make for yourself, whatever like easy shortcut you need to take to make next year easier. That is fine. Like you just need to get through this.
Like everything about this year has just been a fucking disaster. So you know what?
Oh my God.
It's inch by inch. You don't need to see this future. You just need to see the next step.
And you don't need to be like the most productive version of yourself. You don't need to be the smartest, wisest version of yourself. You just need to be the version of yourself that gets through this.
Exactly. Like 2020 is a reparation year. Like, let's be honest. 2021 is a reparation year. Like, let's just get through this. 2020 has been a fucking disaster. It's not even a year. It's not even a year. Like, it's just kind of everyone's just been in their homes. Like, it's fine.
It's
like
awful.
Exactly.
So in 2021, no matter how many candlelit baths you need to take, no matter how many grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup you need to eat, just do it. Like, just be happy. Like, I think we all deserve this in 2021. Just like live your best fucking life in defiance of how shit the world has been.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Just do what you need to do. Guys, seriously. And what are your plans for 2021? Like,
tell us.
Just tell us everything.
What are your dreams?
What are your dreams? What are your hopes? It's a fresh new year, and there are literally no fucking waits for next year. Tell us what you want to do. Where can they do that, Simone?
They can tell us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP. Email us long essays about your dreams at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com. Check out our website at the links below. Donate to Black Lives Matter at our links below. Look at our social medias. Look at our sponsors. Maybe send us some kickback for Christmas. I don't know. Chad, do you have an idea for what we want to do next year? I've got an idea for next week. But
not even a little. I'm completely at your discretion for this one.
So I thought, because, you know, we did like stuff that makes us really happy this week, and maybe we deserve to gently ease into next year. Like it's a cold swimming pool.
Yes.
Or a very hot bath.
Oh, I love a hot bath.
I love a good hot bath. So I thought we could do something that like starts off hot, but like, cools down a little bit at
Uh-huh.
the end. And that is Mean Girls 1 and Mean Girls 2.
How dare you? How very dare you? Because that
Because
is
Mean Girls 1 got rated very highly. It technically doesn't meet our criteria, but Mean Girls 2 got rated very poorly and does meet our criteria. So I feel like it's just an easing in.
yes, first week of January, because guys, we have so much planned for you for January. Like we have a guest
dreams
already.
on dreams.
Like we have a guest already. What is that for our
Yeah.
podcast? Our
Guys,
little baby movie
so
podcast?
organized.
So yes, I think that is fucking on point. Lindsay Lohan to open up, and then whatever the fuck Mean Girls 2 is. Have you seen Mean Girls 2?
No.
I'm so ready for it. Like
I've
whatever
heard
the
it's
fuck
terrible.
it is.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, exactly. Like if Tina Fey is not involved in Mean Girls 2, like what is the point? But
What's the
yes,
point?
I'm very good.
But he's bringing me a top up.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello, Rudy.
It's bringing the party.
Love you pulled your water glass closer. Like, no, it's...
No, I didn't.
There
do
he
it.
is.
But I was just trying to move it out the way and I failed.
At least she
Miserably.
poured it, because if Simone poured it, it would be a nightmare. You're very
I'm
lucky
so
to have
lucky.
him.
I just
You're
sent him a
very
text. I was
lucky.
like, hey, can I get a top up when you have a chance? And he was like, yeah, sure. Oh my girl, you are stumbling as you poured that.
I wish I had a girlfriend.
I'm sure you could have texted your mom and been like, Maureen, please.
That is sad. At 27 years old, that is sad.
Oh, I've got to tell you something after we finish recording this. I've got feelings.
So, what is your optimistic thing for this week? Since
That was
we've
my
discussed?
optimistic thing. That was my message of hope. Just for 2021, everybody who listens to us, do whatever the fuck you need to do to feel good. If you're not
Fair.
hurting anyone, if you're not hurting yourself, like do it. Go for a fucking walk in the world.
Yeah, do
Cook
it.
yourself mac and cheese from scratch for the first time.
Mac and cheese.
It'll
is
change
the
your fucking
optimistic
life.
thing.
Yeah, make yourself a really frivolous cocktail that you wouldn't normally do for yourself.
Yeah, for reals.
Do a face mask. Get a pedicure for the first time, even if you're a dude. Pedicures are a delight.
As Aziz Ansari says, treat yourself.
Treat yourself. That's my optimistic thing. As we head into 2021, I just want all of our listeners to do something really lovely for themselves and tell us all about it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. My optimistic thing, and
Tell
it
us.
almost made me cry,
Oh no.
was no, like good cry, was my Italian student from Cinque Terre. We were having a lesson on Wednesday, and he showed me his vision board for 2021. And we had a wonderful discussion about how you should have your dreams and have them focused.
Yeah.
And it was just so beautiful to see this man, this beautiful 23-year-old, just like have his visions on the back of his wall. And it was perfect. And do you know what really made it for me was the fact that he had his braces off from his front teeth. Like 6 years he had braces on his front teeth, and he had his braces
God.
off.
Getting
this
your
week.
braces off is the best feeling. Oh, I'm so
And
thrilled for him.
I was so proud and happy for him that he had his braces off this week. Like, and he was just smiling so much. Like, I couldn't help but feel so happy for him because he was
What's his
just
name?
smiling. Michael or Michael because he's French and because he's Italian. And I was just
French.
look how much wine I've drunk. Shut
You've almost finished a second bottle of wine.
Because this is the final week of 2021. And I was just so proud of Michael. And I was just so happy for him. He doesn't listen to the podcast. I don't think he even knows I have a podcast.
But I love him.
But I love him so much. I mean, I sent you that text where he wrote that sentence, which was just perfect. And he's just, when he had the braces off and his vision board, and he was just talking to me about how he wants to have his goals reached by 2021. And I was just like, Thank
him.
you, Michael.
Perfect.
Thank you,
what
Michael.
An angel.
Absolute babe. So yeah, like he almost had me in tears on a Wednesday, and it was just
I'm
perfect.
thrilled.
So thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic.
So Mean
Okay.
Girls next week. So where can the people? It's
I've already done
2021.
that. We've done that already.
Have we done that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I already you mentioned that, you brought that up very early in the podcast. So now it's just up to us to say goodbye and wish everybody a happy new year.
Thank God for you, because you're controlling this podcast at this point.
I've had slightly less wine than you, but not by much.
But not that much.
And
Well,
I feel like I handle my liquor better than you because I get drunk
Oh,
a
yeah.
little more often.
Yeah. I drink very rarely. Well, thank
That's
you
cool.
guys for listening so much. Thank you for 2020. I know it's been
Yes.
hard for you, for all of our listeners.
Yes.
But you know what? Thank you guys so much for listening. We really
Mhm.
appreciate you. You guys, I mean, we would do this regardless because this is how we keep in
Yes.
touch with each other. But thank you so much for being with us. We really,
Mhm.
really appreciate it. And you know what? God bless you. And I hope your 2020 has been bearable. But in
Yeah.
2021, we hope everything that you want to accomplish comes true. And please tell us of your journey. We could not
Tell
be
us.
more expressive. But as
We'll
we
be telling
say-
you.
Exactly. But as we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you and there's nothing you can do about it. Happy New Year.
Happy fucking 2021.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Yes. Bye.